All right. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the City of Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals public hearing for October 22nd. Just a few reminders. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, if you can turn it off and put it on silent so it doesn't disrupt the meeting, I'd be appreciated. Then just for the process, when you hear your application being called, please come to the lectern, state your name and address for the record, and present the application you have. All right, we have no other business, continued business, or new business, other business. 236 Broadway Street, it's a pre-application hearing. The applicant has requested a pre-application hearing to present a proposed plan to construct an addition to the property at 236 Broadway Street to include 55 residential units. Good evening, Councilor.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Nice to be here this evening. My name is Attorney Pete Nicosia, for the record. I represent the future applicant who's here on a conceptual basis. 236 Broadway Street LLC, which is an entity that owns the property in question. The principals are here with me, Malay and Palak Patel. Effectively, what they're looking to do is propose a mixed-use project. They have a single-story adult daycare business located on the property, and they're looking to go up and add some residential dwellings to that. You know, for any type of project, mixed-use project of this kind, you know, it's important to be embark on a public-private partnership and get everybody's input before we actually start making formal applications. So what we tried to do is run it through on a department level first, which we've done, and we've seen all the comments that have come from the various departments. We've run it on a department level through the Historical Commission. I've seen those comments as well, and I've talked to some of these department heads. And knowing that we have a formal permitting path that would have to come through the Zoning Board of Appeals as well as the Planning Board, we're here conceptually to take your constructive input as well, so that we can go back to the drawing board and refine the project and try to come up with something that is embraced by the city, meets the zoning planning objectives, and accounts for, you know, the commentary that we've been seeing and we'll hear tonight. So package I gave you is pretty self-explanatory, which I'm assuming you've had a chance to go through that. I'm not going to regurgitate the whole thing. It's a mix of studio, single bedroom, 2-bedroom units going up. Right now proposed 7 floors above the existing floor that's there. And what we're looking at a minimum from this board would be the necessity of relief from the parking requirements, the on-site parking requirements, as well as the FAR calculation, the floor area ratio. And we understand there are some parking challenges here. So what I tried to do in the plan set that we provided you and the narrative that we provided you was to give you some ideas as to potential solutions to try to mitigate the parking requirements, orient you to some of the off-site parking facilities that are in the area, you know, the public transit that's in the area, some non-motorized vehicle options that are available. And we are continuing to talk to some area landowners about leasing additional off-site spaces, which we can include in the project as well to try to mitigate the relief that we might be coming here to seek from you when we make formal application. So I think from, you know, an affordable housing vantage point and the need for new housing stock, especially in these mixed-use areas, I think from a zoning planning objective, it's something that Lowell wants to see. Lowell has embraced at a number of other sites across the city. And I think this is a good location for it. You know, obviously we're trying to balance economic feasibility versus the zoning planning objectives of the city. And sometimes they align and sometimes they don't align. So I think what we're looking to hear is, you know, what the board's tolerance levels might be in terms of an actual variance application, what type of relief you might be amenable to granting if we were to come in either with this project or a modified project. You know, we want to take those into account and go back to our design folks and, you know, put forward a formal application sooner than later. So I think you have the vision in terms of the elevation plans and, you know, the floor plans and the site plans that we provided, and we're anxious to hear your input. So that's all I'll say on the front end. I'm happy to try to answer questions as best I can.
Okay, thank you for that, Counselor. So this is a pre-hearing application, won't be open to the public. So it'd be very casual.
I don't think we have to open it to the public. It's more of a presentation, right?
Yeah.
Right, Dylan? Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be a kind of a casual kind of conversation back and forth here. I'll just start with my colleagues here. Mr. Prokop, did you have any comments or questions for this pre-hearing application?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it looks like a nice project. You're looking to build 55 units, right? And it also says that it's currently paid for 150 parking spaces. So I'm not sure, would that parking space be all of the building?
No, we have to meet the parking calculation demands of the adult daycare, which is going to remain.
Okay,
So that's the challenge. I think we would have, right now, available on site 25 spaces that would be available for the residential units. So obviously falling notably shy from what the literal parking calc requirements would be.
okay. And is that shared also with the senior center?
Yes,
Okay,
isn't it? Yes.
okay. So that's 25 for the daycare, 25 for the senior center?
Yes.
Okay,
The remaining spots that are existing on site are for the adult
got it.
daycare, and then the 25 spots would just be for the residential, excuse me.
How many floors is it now? Because you looking to, you're going up, right? So 8, four more? Okay, so 6. See in the
No,
presentation.
8 total.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what 8. I don't know if there's any restriction on well, it seemed like you did your homework, so if the fact that you went to 8 floors, I'm not sure if there was any air rights restrictions, but,
I did see one of the departmental comments that they were concerned in terms of maybe light view impacts, and, you know, they may want to see some study that addresses those types of issues as to how it might affect abutters. So that's something that we'll have the design folks take a look at too.
okay. It does look like it's, I would say it'll, just from the draft, it looks like it'll be a nice constructed building that looks, you know, conducive to what the neighborhood is already there. But in addition, with the parking, of course, I see that one of the comments here is that you will be reviewing the traffic assessments, because obviously with more units, people coming out, you know, especially where the market basket is, the senior center, that could be a conundrum. So that definitely would be something that I would want to see.
We'll have the engineers take a look at the queuing, and obviously the safe ingress and egress for pedestrian traffic.
Yep.
I don't know, I mean, based upon what I've seen so far, I don't know that it necessitates a full traffic study, but, you know,
Yeah.
some type of traffic engineer's report.
Right, right. I agree with that.
High-level assessment is probably what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I could agree with that, because the parking is going to be the issue wherever you are, so. Yeah, I think, I'd hear what my fellow board members, you know, have to say, but I definitely think that this can be something that can be supported if, you know, those particular requirements can be met. But I'm sure there is additional information that my members may want to bring forth. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Prokop. The chair recognizes Mr. McCarthy. Mr. McCarthy, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So one of the relief piece that you're looking at is the FAR. And so this provides an FAR of 4, which would give you a building size of 36,400 square feet. And you're asking for the building size to be, what, about 42,000 square feet? Is that right?
Yeah, let me just go to the calculation that I have. Yeah, a little over 42,000, so 4.66 over 4.
Yeah, 4 is generous in my estimation in this location, for sure, especially where this location also supports dwelling units that are required to be 1,000 square feet per lot area. So if this was not a mixed use and was strictly residential, that'd be 9 units, and you're at 55. But because it's a mixed use, you're allowed to exceed that lot area per dwelling unit. But I don't know if anyone ever expected you would go that far. I would suggest that we look at a smaller development here, in my opinion, and that you really work on getting 1 space per unit for parking somehow, whether it's leased space. The garage is a little bit of a walk. Not too bad. It'd be nice to see you use the garage, but it's got to be, what, about a 10-minute walk?
Yes, I mean, with the advent of rideshare, and also, one of the other issues we're considering too is potential lease restrictions for some of the units where vehicles would be prohibited, and it would be people that aren't necessarily needing a vehicle based upon what they have going on, whether
I'd be surprised if you could really, regulate that.
police that.
Right. That's an idea, but I don't know how you would really kind of, I mean, you could start there, but I don't know if the tenants would, anyway, that's a tough one. Yeah.
And listen, I understand the density comments. Again,
Yeah.
we're trying to balance economic feasibility for the developer versus what the law allows, so.
Right. We have that downtown overlay district that is, already going to be looking at a lot of development that doesn't have parking connected to it. And so I think that the neighborhoods, until we go to driverless vehicles and ride share and getting out of our cars in this transition period, we're going to be really stressing this neighborhood, I think. So I would suggest you find a way of 1 space per unit and figure out. So if you took a floor off, for instance, the building height would be dropped down to maybe 64 feet or 60, call it 63 feet maybe. That's double the 3-story building that you're attached to. That's still a sizable development. I kind of think that that's from feedback to the presentation that you're looking for. That's kind of the ceiling that I'd like to ever see on that lot, personally, with a density of 48 units with 48 parking spaces somehow to appease that. So I'd be looking at another 23 spaces to magically appear in leased locations nearby, maybe. That's where I'm coming from, at least. I think that would be the edge. Thank you.
Appreciate the comments.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. The chair recognizes the vice chairman, Mr. Callahan. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, through Mr. Chairman. I mean, it's a nice project, but it's ambitious. I'll say that at the very least, it's very ambitious. Parking is obviously going to be the main issue, but I'm trying to grasp where's the existing parking now as far as what your client owns? Because I'm looking at the layout right now, and going on the GIS site, it looks like the building at 236 engulfs the whole lot, and the parking in the back is actually owned by someone else. What's the existing parking situation right now? Actually, sir, if you're going to answer, can you,
Sorry, yeah, come on up.
I mean, if you can either tell your attorney or you can
So the
answer it
land,
just
the
like.
land area is about 9,100 square feet. The building footprint is about 5,100 square feet. And I think a large portion of that parking is on the adjacent lease space, which we have right now, which
In the rear?
round upon.
Yeah, so where the 236 Broadway Street is, actual building is, so if you're standing right there, the whole strip of that parking spot, those are the least 25 parking, excuse me, that we have.
The strip on the, next to the,
The Adam Street and the Broadway Street,
And what about existing parking for the existing adult daycare?
yeah, that's where we're at right now.
okay, the strip on the back off of Adams Street.
Yeah,
Okay. So, but that's all leased to the adult daycare center.
In the proximity that it works.
Okay. So you own that strip right there? That's part of the lot that you purchased? Because I'm looking at the deed and looking at the GIS. It seems to indicate that that's owned by someone else.
Leased space,
Okay, so it's leased space
Correct.
from the owner
Correct.
for the purposes of the
daycare.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at. So you're then intending to lease additional spaces back there
Yes.
from that same owner? Okay, all right. So that's the 25 that you're trying to, and then you're also looking at leasing
Other options.
Other options, okay. All right. No, except that was my first thing that I was thinking about, that I don't see the parking that's already on the lot, that's already owned by you, so, yep. Also, I mean, I understand you say you're gonna try to, and I appreciate you trying to find all the other alternative means for transportation. When I was looking at the proposal, or at least what's being proposed, I didn't see any indication for an area for bike racks or anything
No,
else
I
for
mentioned that in the project narrative,
Oh, yeah.
bike storage and
bike storage. Yeah.
bike racking and, yeah.
Okay. But obviously that,
Also offering that as amenity to the unit.
but as that will be developed, I mean, I'm sure you find a way to,
It'll be flagged on the plan, it'll show the floor space, it'll show the land space for those
Okay.
issues.
I mean, obviously, until we get final plans, I'll reserve any instance, but I'm kind of leaning to what, it's, like I said, it's extremely ambitious, and I appreciate that, but it might be a little too much. I don't know, but I'll just look forward to seeing what
you-
future plans are.
And I'm not.
Yep, that's fine. And that's why we're here, obviously, so.
I'm by no means trying to like bootstrap you into a position, but Member McCarthy had mentioned that he seemed to think, at least conceptually, doubling the size of the current structure right now was kind of his tolerance levels.
Yeah.
Are you-
I don't know exactly what my tolerance level would be, but 8
That ballpark,
floors
or-
seems a lot, maybe, possibly. It's because obviously it's going to be the biggest, it's going to be it'll be the highest and largest structure in that neighborhood, which is already very dense to begin with, so,
I think that ask is presuming that we do secure additional parking.
yeah, I mean, if you can get that, I mean, and, yeah, again, to the point, and I agree with, I understand putting the garages there, and and the Roy garage is, yeah, that's a long walk, and the HCID, semi-shorter walk, but it's almost right near the Roy too as well, so it's going to be, both the garages and down the road are
We can
a
only
bit of a
flag-
walk,
we
but
can
I
only
get it.
flag what exists right
I
now.
got you.
Wish I could invent some.
Understandable. But I look forward to, I mean, if you come before us, I'll look forward to seeing how the project unfolds, and I guess, like I said, we'll go from there, so. But thank you for clarifying the parking
Yes. sorry about
thing,
that.
because
I think, because we already have it under control in our minds,
it's already yours, yeah.
You know.
Gotcha. Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Scanlon. The chair recognizes Mr. Harvey. Mr. Harvey, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, so, I mean, not to browbeat parking, but you already know it's an issue, so I'll add my 2 cents, I suppose. So you have 25 lease spots right now on site. How long does the lease run?
at least 25 to 99 years. It's from Nick Saras, so.
Okay. And your goal is to try to lease more spaces for whoever. How many of those 25 spots are currently used by employees or whatever for the adult daycare?
For the daycare, there are only 2 cars, and
Okay.
then 1 or 2 cars from the employees.
Okay,
Majority of this parking lot, as you know, that is senior center people, they normally park.
yeah, no, I've been to events at the senior center, I know parking's an issue there on a good day. So, you know, when we're adding residents and so on, that's it's gonna stress it. I know a couple weeks back, somebody in the city was looking to see how feasible it would be to expand the senior center to where the Walgreens was. I don't know if that expansion would help or hurt you. I think maybe expanding that would add more parking that was Walgreens, right? So it might give some relief to parking over there. The side streets, Adams and Dublin, you can't park there. It's impossible. If you were 50 feet closer, that 1,500 feet from the parking garage would run in, right? So we're kind of,
I believe the parking garage is almost 1,200,
it,
1,200.
it's 1,543. Yeah. It's just off, right. So we're just missing it. I think the area is good in housing is needed. I don't dislike the project. It's a little too high. I can't give you an opinion. I know Member McCarthy is, you know, made an example. Realistically, you have to work with the historic board because it doesn't matter what we say if they don't approve anything, right? So I know you already said you're making calls and you're working with them, so if they say 6 is good, 7's good, I don't know what they're gonna say. We really have no insight to that, but so it makes it difficult to say, hey, this is what I'm willing to do, but it's parking. The height, obviously, it's a little, it kind of looks awkward with the 3 stories and then 8 stories behind it. And that's the plan, right? The plans we have is the one floor existing and then 7 above, right? Okay. I just wanted to clarify that. So I think something could be done there with buy-in from the city and work with all the different departments. I'm not against development there. I just want to make sure it's smart development for the neighborhood. The last thing we need is, you know, parking wars out on those streets. And, you know, the couple of events I went to at the senior center, it was 50-50 that it was going to break out because, you know, overflow tends to go on to Dublin and then just walk over. And so I would like to see some development there. If there's some way that you could deal with adding additional parking, I think that would go a long ways towards getting this through, at least on my end.
Appreciate the comments, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hovey. Chair recognizes Mr. Shanahan. Mr. Shanahan, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you again to echo the sentiments of my fellow board members. Height is a challenge. 55 units is very ambitious. Comments from the planning board, they don't feel like that sort of height might fit with the character of the neighborhood. If we go 5 floors, based on my math, that's still 34 units, I believe you would be at, which certainly could make parking more manageable. The problem with leasing, you know, parking is it's a short-term fix. You know, even if it's like a 20, 25-year lease, this building is obviously going to outlive most of those leases, and if something comes up, then what? You know, so, but again, you're just here to hear feedback. I'm not going to say how I would vote based on a hypothetical and not hearing public comment, but again, I think you understand what your challenges are, and you have certainly plenty of time to explore those further. So.
Do you feel that that location is suitable for additional housing, or the neighborhood could use additional housing, just conceptually?
That I do, I agree. I agree that there is housing that is needed there.
Setting aside density.
It's a good project, yes, it's just
Okay.
the scope of the proposed project at this time.
Understood.
Thank you, Mr. Shanahan. I think I have very similar comments. Again, I think overall, it has a lot of potential. I think, like my colleague said, the scale and the size, that's concerning to me in a very kind of tight, packed, condensed neighborhood. And, I'm not an expert like these guys. We have lawyers and architects and housing experts and all that. I'm just, but I like to see it kind of scaled down probably to half, to tell you the truth. I don't know how you make that happen. I'm sure your team, they seem very, like qualified to do that, But continue to work with the city, the different departments. And if it's scaled down significantly, I think you'll see the barriers of parking addressed naturally as well. But I think to the comments on my colleagues, 55 is too much and 70 floors is too much too. I don't have a magic number. But from a layman's perspective, half that, 25, 30, 35. And again, I get the economics, but I still think it'd be beneficial for the city, for you folks. And I think the city and the neighborhood as a whole would benefit. I always try to imagine myself, and I'm sure you folks do too, if you live there, a building of this magnitude, I think it'd be concerning a little bit. So I think if we can scale down quite a bit, I think it'd still be beneficial for you and for the neighborhood as a whole. So those are my only comments. Yeah. That's really it, the pre-hearing application, unless you have any other.
No, nothing further. We wanted to get board-level comments. I mean, we're going to do the same at the planning board, and then at that point, we're going to really kind of dive in with historic again to go from there. But these comments are important for us, for our design team.
Agreed.
On the actual application, so.
I'll say we very rarely get pre-applications in front of the board too, and we do appreciate it. That come in before. It's a good exercise that I wish that many bigger projects like this would do to try to get gauging. And
After having done this for 30 years plus in multiple states, it's the most important thing to do, in my view, is to allow the municipality to put their fingerprints on it before the formal application, because it's going to cut down on the number of public hearings, it's going to cut down on the engineering peer review, it's going to save us costs. So we're happy that you entertain these things, so thank you.
And then I know Mr. McCarthy had a comment. I just had another question quickly, Councillor. In terms of the public input, the neighbors, the butters, are there a sense of what they think about this project overall?
What we wanted to do was kind of run it up the flagpole
Sure.
at the municipal level to see what everybody's thinking. And then as we kind of pare these plans set down to actually a submission plan set, then we're going to have further outreach to the neighborhood so that their first introduction to the project isn't a certified letter saying, hey, there's a public hearing. They're going to know exactly what it's for.
That's very thoughtful and mindful. Thank you. Mr. McCarthy, do you have a comment, sir?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to ask, have you done any preliminary pricing on this? Because the reason I ask is it's rare that we see an 8-story building with this smaller footprint come before us. And that's a very expensive, or much more expensive construction type, being, I think, all steel at that point, because you can't do the wood frame 4-story above. So, and you are doing small units, and they don't look like they're going to get you the $4,000 a month rental out of each one. So I was just wondering if you might want to just look at pricing on this, because that might tell you something also as far as what the height you want to do is, because you've picked a very expensive building type, that's for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. And sir, to you, to your clients, we think this is a potential to have a great positive impact for the city. And again, thank you for your big investment. We know this is a huge investment. We just want to make sure it's appropriate and fair to everyone involved, the neighbors, the city, all the stakeholders. So we're very mindful of the investment you folks are making. So we do appreciate that.
All right. Thanks for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. In other business, we have none.
Actually, I just know, yeah, we didn't have the minutes to approve from the last meeting. We usually have those on there, apparently not, so, but,
Are they, they're not on the,
I mean, can
meant to
we,
be on the.
can we move to do that?
Yeah, can you
anyways?
move to, okay,
Okay, that was for the October 14th meeting?
all right,
16th with the.
16th, okay.
16th.
All right, so we just have minutes for approval for October 16th. Any edits, comments, additions from my colleagues regarding the minutes? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve?
Well, I guess, do we have to make a
Oh.
motion, do we have to make a
Yep.
motion to add it to the agenda first and then do it? Is that the appropriate way, or just do it?
I don't think you need to, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, well.
We can do that too, if we could make a motion
I mean,
to
it's an
add it.
administrative thing, I just want to
Yeah,
make sure.
add it to the agenda, and then no one seems to have any comments about the agenda minutes, so if we can just have a motion to add to the agenda, and then the motion to approve the minutes too, that'd be great.
Three, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to add the meeting minutes to be reviewed for October 16th, 2025.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay.
Aye.
All right, ayes have it. All right, can we have the motion to approve the minutes?
Three, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 16th, 2025.
All right, motion by Mr. McCarthy to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second by the vice chairman. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed say nay. The ayes are unanimous. All right, any other comments before we adjourn tonight?
I just want to make sure that everyone understands that we're voting on November 4th, and I look forward to everyone getting out to vote. And I think it's an important thing for us all to participate in. Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Three, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
All right, motion by Mr. McCarthy to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Mr. Prokop. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The ayes are unanimous. We are adjourned. Thank you. Have a good night, folks.